This is the SAU Report, a program featuring interviews with the faculty, staff, students, and alumni of Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.
Hi, and welcome to this edition of the SAU Report. I'm Heather Halter.
And I'm Megan Harwell. And today we have with us Angie Totty, the Women's Area Coordinator for Southern Arkansas University. Angie, what exactly are your responsibilities as the Women's Area Coordinator?
As the area coordinator, I am over the housing department here at SAU. I take care of all of the women's assignments. Everyone that comes in to live on campus, I'm the one that does their assignments, puts them with their roommate. I also oversee the residence halls as far as maintenance and housekeeping and making sure that all repairs are taken care of. I also oversee our hall director staff. Each building has a hall director and a staff of RAs, and I am responsible for overseeing that staff as well as my own.
How did you get interested in that?
Well, as an undergraduate here at SAU, my last year here, my senior year, I was given the opportunity to be a resident assistant, and I was an RA in Bussey Hall, and it was a very enjoyable experience for me. I then graduated, went on, worked at a wilderness camp, which is a serious offenders program, and I worked there for a couple of years. Then I started thinking I'd like to get my master's, so I came back. My job was available. I applied with Jay Corson, who is my boss, and with the experience of the RA that I had, I was hired as the women's coordinator.
Wow. Do you enjoy your job as the Women's Area Coordinator?
I do. It's a very fun job. I have an opportunity to meet a lot of people, a lot of young ladies that live in my building and that I get to meet and interact with. My necklace came from one of my international students. That she came from Greece, and when she went home for Christmas one year and came back, she brought it back to me.
Wow,
so I get a lot of opportunities like that to meet and interact with people, and it's a great time.
Do you sometimes feel overwhelmed when you're trying to put the different women into the different dorms?
At times, it can be a fearful kind of thing. If you request a particular roommate, those are easy. Kind of just put you together and make your room assignment. It's the beginning freshmen that I feel a little intimidated at times because I don't know them. This is their first year and can be very influential on whether they stay or not.
Yeah.
If they get a roommate that they absolutely cannot stand, then it becomes an issue that we have to deal with. And of course, we try to do our best if that occurs, if the roommates do not get along, that we do everything possible to either help them get to know each other and get along, or ultimately we can switch rooms or whatever we have to do. But it can be somewhat intimidating when you don't know anything about them, but you have to assign them. So it's sometimes can be.
Are your responsibilities only towards the women?
Not really. I work with Kevin Solomon, who is our men's area coordinator. And we have the title men and women, but we work together. And if any issues arise in the men's halls and I'm there to deal with it, I deal with it. I don't wait until he comes in to handle it. And we work together. Sometimes he knows people that I don't know, that we can, see who would be best matched with whom. And I know some of the men that, so we just kind of work together and make sure that everything's taken care of overall for the housing.
Well, you were talking about if there was problems between roommates. I know that I lived in Harrod Hall last semester, and a couple girls, they didn't get along. Well, we went to our hall directors. Well, did they have to go through y'all before they switch rooms?
Ordinarily, once the students get into the halls, I pretty much leave it up to the hall director's discretion, because he or she has to, they have to live there and deal with the women or men that are in that building. So I pretty much leave it up to his discretion or her discretion, and they just need to go through us to make sure that we know and have it right in the computer and all that kind of thing. But as far as once they get into the halls, then it's up to the hall director.
Well, how long have you worked for SAU?
I've been in this position since 1996. I came in January, coming up on 4 years that I've been here. It's been a wonderful time. I've I'm working on my master's degree, and that was one of the reasons that I came, that I was interested in that. And so I will be finishing up pretty soon, and my job will be ending, I guess.
Is this the only job that you hold here on campus?
It is a full-time paid employment that I do with the Women's Coordinator job. This summer I've had the opportunity to be a part of YOU 2, which is a program here on campus that of 14 and 17-year-old students around the state of Arkansas. They are selected by their counties to come here and learn leadership skills, to have an opportunity to be on a college campus. They are in some ways at risk, either economically or grade-wise, and they have the ability to come here and get used to a university setting and hopefully be able to go forward with their education once they get through with high school. So I've been helping with that. I get to do all of the trips that they're doing. Every weekend they get to go to, they've gone to Memphis and they've gone to Shreveport. They're going to Dallas, so it's very educational for them, and they get to get out, and some of them are from northeast Arkansas, so they don't get a chance to get down in South Arkansas very often and see some of the things that we have here. So it's been very eventful and it's been fun. We have a good group of young students that are here.
Do the youth that are involved in YOU 2, do they have to pay to come here and do this? Or
Actually,
are
no.
they selected?
We pay them in a way. They come here and we have a work project that we are completing. At this point, we're building sand volleyball courts around the university. That will be a permanent structure in the university that, YOU 2 students can say, hey, this is something that we did and contributed to the university as a whole. And that is their work project, and they get paid to do that. So they don't have to pay to come, and we take care of all their expenses while they're here, and then they also get paid as well as long as they do the work.
That's neat.
How did you get involved in the YOU 2?
My boss, Jay Corson, is the director of the program, and he asked if I would be interested in helping him with that. And I am, and Kevin Solomon, who is my co-worker, he is also helping with the working with the work project and getting that all planned out. So we've had a very fun summer. It's been really eventful, and it's been a great time.
That's good. I've heard that you're involved with the Alpha Sigma Alpha sorority.
That's correct.
How did you get involved with them?
I'm their advisor at this point. I'm not actually a member of Alpha Sigma Alpha, but they came to me last spring and were in need of an advisor. I know several of the members, a couple are my RAs, and they thought that I would enjoy it and they would enjoy having me, so I told them that I would, and it has been great. It has been a really good time. The young ladies in that sorority are very wonderful. They are mostly mature. Some of them are new, but they conduct themselves as mature young ladies, and I have really had a good time.
That's good.
Well, how does working with these young women keep you on your toes?
Oh, it keeps me on my toes for sure. With any group of young ladies, there's always some dissension and some conflict, and you can just expect that. That's going to be expected because she said this and they said that, but those are just small things, and the overall big picture of it, it's those are just not of any consequence whatsoever. I have a real good time with them.
That's good. Do you ever regret the line of work you've chosen with these young women or with the other youth you deal with?
Not really. It's been a great opportunity, and when you think about it, it's somewhat overwhelming because you have so much contact with so many young ladies and men that something that I may do or say can influence the direction that they take in the future. I've even I have people come to me in the residence halls and ask, I'm thinking about changing my major, what do you think? And I'm not a certified counselor or anything like that, but I've been there, and I know some of the issues that they deal with and some of the fears that they have, and so, and it could, to think that something that I say can affect their decision, it's somewhat scary at times, but it's a great time. I don't regret it at all.
It must be a huge compliment to know that they trust you with all that.
Oh, yes, that's something I never overlook and never ignore. But regrets, I have none.
That's great.
Good. Do you live here in Magnolia?
I do. I actually live in Bussey Hall, one of the residence halls here on campus. We have an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment in the lobby there at Bussey. My husband and children live with me, and it's fun times with my husband living in a women's residence hall. He has his coworkers kid him about, oh, you have all those women around you, and he said, it's not like that. Believe me, my wife would kill me. So, but we have he has, I think, more adjustment problem than I ever did because I lived here and I knew what to expect.
Right.
But so we have fun there. My kids love it, and we have fun.
That's great.
You mentioned you have children. How old are they?
I have a son that's 6, his name is Reese, and a son that just turned 2, his name is Caleb. I also have a stepdaughter, Katie, and a stepson, Brent, and they don't live with us, they live with their mother. But Reese and Caleb live there in the apartment with us and are spoiled rotten.
I bet they are.
With all the young ladies that come in
They
and
just love
they love them to death. So Reese especially, he's been here since he was 3, so he's pretty much grown up in the residence halls, and he's really had a good time.
So you said that your family does enjoy living on the campus?
Yeah, I think if anybody had the major adjustment, it was my husband.
Right.
You know, he had to give up a great deal, for which I am grateful.
Right.
You know, for him to be able to do that and to come here, and because he's an outside person and he likes to be outside, and there's just really no outside unless you go out in the lobby.
Right.
And that's difficult. Then our privacy, as you know, that's been his major problem with because you don't have any.
Yeah.
Well, are y'all ever woken up during the night or from girls, coming in late or?
Not as often. Once the young ladies get to Bussey, they're all upperclassmen by that point, and I don't have really too many problems with them coming in being loud at night. The only thing is fire alarms. If somebody pulls a fire alarm in the middle of the night.
Oh, God.
But believe it or not, my kids can sleep right through it. They have adjusted to it.
Yeah.
My oldest son, it don't faze him. He sleeps right through it. So that's the only time that we ever get really awakened in the middle of the night. And sometimes I get called out, somebody's sick, or I have to go up.
Right.
But, as far as the whole household getting woke up, but that doesn't happen.
Right. Are there any other activities that you are involved in here at SAU?
Yes, along with my Alpha Sigma Alpha that I do, I'm also a graduate student here at SAU. I'm working on my master's in agency counseling. Hopefully we'll be finished with that May of this next year, May 2000. I've got 2 classes left, and I'm hoping I will finish it in May.
Right.
And then I would like to, go on further and stay in higher ed, somehow in housing, because I've really enjoyed this and have had such a growing learning experience. And I completely enjoy my master's classes. SAU has really done a wonderful job with their master's classes. It's been fun. It really has.
I bet. Are there any types of improvement plans for the dorms or plans to build new dorms in the future?
Well, we have been working usually every summer to make improvements to the residence halls. To do a major overhaul improvement would take more money than we can do at this point, but we're trying to do slowly, little by little, to make improvements. Dr. Gamble has really been supportive of having the money that we can do some. Last summer we shut down Tally and completely repainted it, and we did the majority of Green Hall. This summer we've shut down Talbot Hall and we're repainting it. By the end of this next fall, we hope to have new beds for Olive Green and Talbot. We're getting new lights in Bussey Hall. We got new lights last summer in the ceiling fixtures, and now we're getting new lights over the sinks and the chest drawers. So just, as little by little that we can do, we're going to try to get them all replaced. And as far as new halls, I haven't heard of any definite plans of doing that. I know that is on the mind of administration at this point, but whether or not anything definite has come about, I'm not aware of it.
Do you feel that there should be more dorms built or more improvements made to the dorms?
There's still a lot of improvement to be done. and I think anyone will recognize that.
Yeah.
But we're going to continue to try every year to improve a little bit more and more so that we can offer the best possible housing to the students that want to live on campus. And I think that's very important for the ones that live so far away that they can't be at home and drive back and forth, or that don't want to live off campus. We want to be able to supply them with the best possible housing that we can. So, I think improvement is always necessary.
Right.
So.
At SAU, do we have any honors dorms?
Well, we have, for the men's area, we're going to have a Graham Annex is going to be a men's honors hall. And that whole building will be used for the honor students that have 3.0 or higher. In Bussey, we have the entire third floor that we use for our women in their honors floor. And each honors person will receive their room as a single room, and they will not have to pay any additional for that room. That's just a service that we would like to provide for them for doing successful in academic arena.
That's great. What are the requirements for living on the honors floors or dorms?
To be in the honors hall, you have to have a 3.0 GPA or higher, and you have to have completed 30 credit hours. At this year, we've had the unique circumstance of having too many people apply for the honors, which says a lot for our academic program. A lot of students are succeeding in their academics. So this year we've had to go to who's been here the longest. We look at who got their $50 deposit in first and just make a list by deposit date and count as many rooms as we can give, and then keep them on the waiting list. If people cancel or don't decide not to come, then we'll put them in the honors hall as available.
Is the number of students living on campus rising?
It is. Every year for the last 3 years, I know of, our numbers have gone up. This year we're up about 100 students more than this time last year.
Wow.
A lot of that are beginning freshmen. I feel has contributed. This year we have been able to put our housing application in with the application for admission to the university. And that's something that has not happened in the past. Usually they can call and get it from us. But this year we actually put it in the application packet itself. And we've had a lot more beginning freshmen that have applied for housing than before. And I think that's going to be a great thing for the university.
That sounds good. What are the costs for living on the campus?
The room and board is tied together. You pay, room and board cost, and it's going to be $1,400 per semester for this upcoming year. Our dining hall services, we started this last year. It's called a continual dining service, and you pay one rate. In the past, we've had 3 different rates you could choose, and eat as many meals as you chose. This year, last year we went to a continual dining plan, and our cafeteria stayed open from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night, with only 2 periods where they closed down for cleaning and that kind of thing. And you could go in anytime they were open. You could go in as many times. You didn't have to stick to 10 meals that week or 19 meals. It didn't matter. If you wanted to go in there 100 times that week, you could, just to get just to get a soda or something. It didn't matter. So, and that, I think a lot of people enjoyed that, especially being open until 9 p.m. In the past, they had closed at 7. And college students don't wake up until at least 9, so they being open until 9 o'clock, they were able to go in and grab a sandwich or a piece of pizza or whatever, and I think it was really enjoyable for our students last year, and we're going to be doing that again this year.
I've heard great things about the new cafeteria program.
So you said that if you're living on campus, you have to have the continual dining?
Yes, they are tied together. Only under very special circumstances can that be waived, and that goes through the Vice President, Dr. Donna Allen.
Right.
But ordinarily, unless there's just some medical reason, they are tied together.
Well, how can a person live off campus?
The university requires that all students, undergraduate students that have less than 60 hours or under the age of 21, they must live on campus. So anyone that has 60 plus or over 21, or if they're married or they have served in active duty, they can live off campus. Other than that, we try to keep them in the halls because we try to provide for our freshmen an opportunity to learn about the campus, things that they might not be able to get if they lived off campus. A lot of times what happens is people come in, they live off campus, they become isolated from the university as a whole. And the residence halls, we try to provide programs and an opportunity for them to interact with their neighbors and other students on campus. And I think it's really helpful, especially for a beginning student, to get in here and learn people and to become involved.
Right. If a student did live off campus, would there be a way for them to purchase the continual dining plan?
Our business office has worked out, and I think they begin this in the spring. Like if you wanted to purchase a number of meals, you could go and purchase that many meals, and you'd take your card through the cafeteria and they would mark them off. If you want to go purchase more, you could. And you can get on just the continual dining plan if you would like to, if you're going to be on campus and eat that much.
Right.
We find that it's more advantageous for the people that are off campus to go and purchase just a certain number of meals.
For the kids that commute, like from El Dorado, they come over here during the day to eat lunch.
Yeah, and they could go in there and eat lunch and,
That'd be good.
and not have to pay the whole amount.
Right. Is it hard to obtain a private room here on campus?
Well, our private rooms are done based on availability. If our buildings are full, we're not able to give anyone private rooms because we want to be able to provide housing for anyone that wants it. If we have a building that's full, we don't want to tie up that one bed that we might could give to someone else. So our private rooms have a $200 fee per semester if you were to get a private room. So it's an additional charge for it. And you have to notify your hall director at the beginning of the semester if you're interested. And they begin a list of people that are wanting a private room. And usually about 2 weeks into the semester, we look and see what kind of space we have, how many people we have that want a private room. And then we go and look at their deposits. Again, whoever has been here the longest or has their deposit on file will get the private room first. So that's kind of how we do our private rooms. And we want people to be happy. We want them to be happy here and to stay here. And we try to be as accommodating as we can, in that area.
Well, I know that there are no fraternity or sorority houses here on campus. Are there any separate dorms or floors for the different fraternities and sororities?
What we have done in the past, especially with the women, a lot of our male fraternity, a lot of them do not live on campus, but our women, what I have done is the people that are in a sorority that want to be together, I accommodate them. I will put them in a floor together. It's not really their floor, but they have that opportunity to be around their sisters and can interact with them other than when they're at a sorority event. And we try to do that. And any fraternity members that are on campus, we do the same for them also. So.
What are your personal plans for the future?
Well, as I talked about earlier, I'm looking at completing my master's here in this next year, and would like to be in a university setting. I have thoroughly enjoyed working in housing, and would like to look at a position, a permanent position, some kind of administrative position like that. And another area that I have looked at is in the business area of human resources, which kind of uses the same sort of degree that I'm getting, and they would do the personnel and that kind of thing. And I'm interested in that. I took a class with that this past spring, and it was very interesting to me. And I'm kind of looking at that. Not really serious yet, but it's just it's in my mind that may be a direction that I'd like to go.
Right. Where are you originally from?
I'm from Sorrento, Louisiana, which is a small town about 45 minutes from here in Magnolia. My mother graduated from SAU when 79, I believe, is when she graduated. And there was really no decision about where I would go once I graduated. I've been at SAU. She brought me to classes with her when I was little, and I always loved the campus, even back then. So when I graduated, there was other options like Louisiana Tech. I had scholarships there and other places, but SAU was where I wanted to go. So this is where I am.
Well, great. Well, thank you for joining us today, Angie.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this edition of the SAU Report. I'm Heather Halter.
And I'm Megan Harwell. Thanks for watching.
The SAU Report is a production of broadcast journalism students in the Department of Theater and Mass Communication at Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.